Okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight is fears, and I'm actually going to share some really great things that Della and I learned, and Laurie was there as well, this past weekend at a mindset training with Sonia Dudley, and it was absolutely inspirational, extremely helpful, and I just wanted to share just an excerpt from that, and it was on fears. And, you know, this is something that we all face in our business and sometimes those fears change as we progress, but it's important that we not only know what those fears are and we acknowledge them, but we kind of know how to handle them so we're not immobilized by them. Because the last thing we want to do is let our fears come between us and helping others, and our fears come between us and reaching our goals and being able to accomplish things that we want for our family, whether that's financial freedom or time freedom or whatever that is. And so we don't want that fear to come between us and those things. So one of the really common fears is a fear of failure. I think this is something in life in general that we face because none of us want to look back and feel like we didn't accomplish something we set out to do. And so sometimes when people have this fear of failure, they kind of come into the business like, well, I'll give it a try, and if it works for me, great, instead of coming all in and just committing and giving it their all. And a lot of times when we have those fears and we don't learn to move past them, then we end up not even really achieving much of anything in life. And so we don't want that fear of failure to stop us. Another common fear is one of success. Some people, it's more the fear of the responsibilities that might come with succeeding with this company, like fear of leading a team, maybe fear of having a team page and leading others. And so that success and doing well in the business sometimes is what people are afraid of because they're afraid maybe they won't be enough, they won't be a good enough leader. Maybe they don't see themselves as a leader. And so success is a very scary thing for some people. And so that can stop people as well. A third one is just trading security for the unknown. All of us have a comfort zone, right? It's called a comfort zone for a reason because we feel good in it. And it's a very scary thing in any aspect of life to step out of that comfort zone. But one thing I know I've personally learned is the more I step outside of my comfort zone, then the more that circle kind of expands and the more I'm able to do, and I have a new comfort zone. But, you know, sometimes people don't want to trade their common everyday what they're used to, even if they're miserable. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys know people who they're sick, they're miserable, they hate their job, or they hate what their circumstances are, but they're not willing to do anything to change it because even though they're miserable, they're comfortable with miserable, right? So we have to learn that sometimes it's okay to step out into that unknown and really embrace that. And then a really, really big one, and I know this was one for me at the beginning, and I still have moments that this is a fear for me. I don't know that will ever 100% go away, but it's that fear of what others think. Especially with what we do in network marketing. You know, you're sharing on Facebook, you're posting, and I think there's that fear of they're going to think I'm the annoying Plexus lady, or they're going to think I've lost my mind, or I post too much about Plexus, or fears that, like, sometimes we have that fear of, well, they're going to think I'm just trying to make money off them. They're not going to see my heart behind helping them. So there's a lot of fears of what people think. And, you know, I know personally one thing I've learned is that I can't let the fear of helping others, I can't let the fear of what people think come between me and being able to help others. And that's personally one that really helped me in this area because I now, you know, even those of you on the call, you know about it. If Della had fear and she didn't tell me about it, and I had fear and didn't tell Donna about it, who told you, Michelle, you know what I'm saying? So and now you're free of a lot of symptoms in your life has changed. And so many of us have this chain reaction. If at any point one of us let fear stand in our way, some of you guys would not be on this call. You wouldn't be free from some of the debilitating symptoms and just miserable things that you were dealing with. And so that is one reason for me that keeps me from saying, okay, I'm afraid sometimes. I'm afraid of people telling me no. I'm afraid of people doing those things, but I don't let it stop me because I love hearing those success stories and people's lives changing. And so we also have to remember with fears, when they do say no to you, they're not saying no to you, but to the opportunity. And a lot of times that's because they don't really know what they're saying no to. If they truly understood what these products do, they truly even understood what this business opportunity is, it's not as likely that they would be saying no. But it's just because they don't fully understand. And we have to have patience and understanding with that, with them. Because there was times that all of us on this call, we did not fully understand either. And now we have the belief and we know how great it is. So those are just a few common fears. So I wanted to really quickly just talk about some ways to really unlock those fears so they're not keeping us from moving forward in our businesses. Because the tendency is when we get fearful in life is to freeze and not move forward, and it really just immobilizes us and keeps us from doing things. So first of all, you have to identify your fear. And one way of doing this is writing it down. So if you're afraid of what people are going to say, if you're afraid of hearing no's, if you're afraid of people misunderstanding your intentions, if any of the things that we talked about tonight, write that down. Whatever your fear is, you need to identify it so you can actually address it. So once you do that, then you're going to replace it. So the way you're going to do this is with positive present tense affirmations. So let me give you an example of that. If maybe you're fearful of messaging people or calling people and sharing these amazing products or this business opportunity. So a positive affirmation in the present tense that you could use is say, people love hearing from me. People trust me and value what I have to share with them. So that's just one example of something that you can say to yourself that will help you move past that fear. Now, the third thing that you need to do is tell it to yourself over and over and over again, okay? Now, I know, I just want to kind of give you an example of this. I heard this the other day and I thought, wow, this is so brilliant. This is so true. On the negative end of it. I'm just going to show you the negative end so you can understand how this can work in a positive way. So have you ever had it to where like your mom or your husband or somebody was like, hey, will you go get me that in the that bottle, that salt in the pantry? Let's just say salt. Go get that salt in the pantry. And you're looking in the pantry and you're like, I don't see the salt. And they're like, well, it's right there on the shelf. And you're looking on the shelf and you're like, I don't see it. It's not there. And then they give you more descriptive terms. Well, it's on the right side inside that little cubby. And you look and it's not right there. And then they come behind you, they reach right in front of you and they hold it up and say, it's right here. Okay? So sometimes when we tell ourselves over and over and over again something negative, we can't see even what's right in front of us. And we don't really see reality sometimes. And so that works in a negative sense. If you tell yourself, I can't do this, I'm not good at this, I don't have any influence, people don't care what I have to say, people are going to misunderstand me. If that's what you keep telling yourself, then that's what you're going to believe. It was actually Henry Ford, I believe, that said, whether you believe you can succeed or fail, you're right. In other words, it's what's up here. It's what you tell yourself. It's that mental tape in your head. So if you tell yourself, you know what your fears are, you find a way to put it into a positive present tense affirmation and you tell it to yourself over and over again. I am a good leader. I am working on personal development and I'm going to meet my goal. One thing, I get up every day and part of what I do is positive affirmations. And so my goal is emerald. And so I say to myself every day, I will be emerald before I'm 30. That is what I tell myself, because that is, if I put that in there and I keep telling myself, then that's going to encourage me to do the work to actually do that. So there's actually an app that you can use on your phone, and I have the name of the one for iPhones, and I think they also have them for Android, but it's named a little differently. But if you have an iPhone, there's an app called Repeat It Again. And so you can download this app, and you can actually speak positive affirmations in there, and you can just do this dialogue where you're just saying, I'm gonna, like for me example, I'm going to be emerald before I'm 30. I can do whatever I put my mind to. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm, going to be a great leader. I keep telling myself these things, and then I can replay that. And if you will do that, just do positive affirmations for 5 to 10 minutes for 30 days, you will see a tremendous improvement in how you view things and how you're dealing with your fears and overcoming those. So that's just what I have tonight on fears. I actually want to take just a second to let every one of you kind of share just one fear that maybe you have currently, maybe your biggest fear when it comes to the business that you feel like is kind of holding you back. And we're just going to kind of discuss those things. So let's see. Laurie, let's actually start with you. So I'm going to unmute you now. And if you'll just share like one fear that you feel like you're facing right now.
Hey, I was actually sitting here trying to figure out the name of that other app. Sorry. You wanted to know
just one fear that you feel like you're facing right now in your business with Plexus.
Probably almost fear of success, which sounds strange. But if I succeed, then I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like I feel like if I succeed, I have to I really don't know how to explain what I'm thinking, but I don't know, you explained it pretty well, the fear of success, but I also fear really all of them.
Yeah.
But rejection's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's hard to hear no or something along those lines from somebody that you really care about and who could really benefit from the products or the business or both. And so that one's a tough one for me too.
Yeah, I completely can relate. It is hard when you know that they need this so badly and it could change everything for them. But it's like that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And it's frustrating sometimes because you want to make them drink because they'll feel better. Give them their pink drink.
Like what Sonia Dudley was saying, you want to shove their head in the water and open their mouth for them, but you can't do it. I found the name of the one for Android, and it's called Affirmation Remix.
Yes, that's right. Affirmation Remix. Let me write that down. Thank you. Remix. Okay. Now, how do you feel like, what is an affirmation a positive present tense affirmation in dealing with maybe one of those fears that you feel like you could replace that fear with, that you could tell yourself and work on saying that to yourself daily?
I keep thinking back to what Sonia Dudley was talking about. Her example was exercise and how she had her affirmation that said, I love how my body feels when I am exercising. I wake up every morning with the energy to exercise. She told herself what she probably did not believe when she was saying it, but if you listen to that over and over, it's helpful. So I would probably say something along the lines of, this person needs this. They will feel so much better if they tell you no, which they're not going to, then that's okay. The timing's not right. God's timing is the best timing. Something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's good. That's so great. Thank you so much for sharing, Laurie. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. Who we had, was it Ute? Were you on the phone? Okay, let me unmute you. Let's see. Okay, so do you want to share what's a fear that you feel like you're facing right now, Ute, in your business?
Well, I probably agree to the fear of success for the simple reason that I'm very busy with the full-time job that I have, and if I was to succeed with Plexus, would I have the time to really, lead a team and be available for everybody, and adding that to the full-time job?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of a fear. And then I have another fear that I have is, it's not a problem for me at all to talk to people about the products and sharing the products, sharing the business, but then getting them to actually take the step of ordering, signing up. I feel like I don't want to pressure them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of a fear that, the sharing is not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then I feel like to get them to actually take the step to sign up or order,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to push. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of like just closing that,
Yes.
is just kind of closing the deal, so to speak. That makes you nervous because you feel like you're putting pressure on them, and you don't want anyone to feel like you don't want anybody to feel like you're selling and pushing them to do something they don't want to do.
Exactly.
And that's completely understandable. And I think, I know, a lot of people I've talked to have had that fear. And what they found is when you know that they need the products and that you've asked questions, you've shared the products, they know the products are good for them, and you've had that dialogue and they really are ready for that. Then really by you closing it, all it's saying is, hey, when's a good time, Tuesday or Thursday, for me to give you a call and help you get started. And I think if you kind of tell yourself hey, I'm not being pushy, I am going to actually help them to get started so they can be blessed by this. I think if you see it that way, then you won't be pushy and you won't feel like you're being pushy. Because the truth is, you don't seem to be, like, if you have the fear of being pushy, you probably aren't pushy, because pushy people a lot of times don't really have that fear. They're like, I know I'm pushy and I have to be careful, but I'm okay with that. But, people who are being pushy, a lot of times actually aren't. You're the complete opposite of pushy. And so I think it's just saying, you know what good, and I think maybe this would help with just knowing, it's like, okay, I've shared, and I know what a blessing it is, and they know what a blessing it is, and they can see how this would help them. And so for me to saying, hey, what time works for you for me to help you get started, then that's really leaving it up to them. I mean, they ultimately make that decision. And then, respecting whatever decision they make, but it's giving them the opportunity to get started. Because if we share and then we don't help them get started, then they won't benefit. And that's so sad, for sure.
Yeah.
But I understand that fear. So what is a positive affirmation you think you could tell yourself when it comes to kind of unlocking that fear that you have?
Well, I could probably say I am supportive to help them to better health. I am not pushy. I'm giving them the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, sort of. I don't know.
Oh, that's wonderful. No, that's phenomenal. That's so good. And that's right. And if you tell yourself that over and over again, then when you have the opportunity to help them get started, you're going to see it as just that, an opportunity to help them start feeling better and experiencing it instead of being pushy, which you're definitely not. So, no, that's great. I think that's perfect. Thank you for sharing. Okay, let's see. Michelle, I'm going to unmute you and let you share, like, maybe one of your fears as you're approaching this business opportunity.
I think, well, there's a lot of fears, but I think what's really hard for me is just personally putting myself out there for others. I'm a very private person, so just that letting people into my private personal life is the big challenge for me right now. Sharing my personal, goals, personal stuff right now, which I'm learning baby steps, but it'll all work. It'll all take me out of that comfort zone, little by little.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what do you think is a positive affirmation that would help you in some of your fears?
I use them quite often. I have to talk myself into a lot of things. It works.
Is there one in particular, an affirmation that you think would help you with your business and fears, help you step out of those comfort zones and kind of face some of those fears of putting your own personal journey out there?
Just breathe and go for it.
Yeah. Just knowing that you can do it. Right. And that's great that you already do positive affirmations. That's tremendous. Okay, Della, I'm going to unmute you. Oh, let's see. Here we go. Why don't you share what one of your current fears are with us, and then a positive affirmation to help you unlock that fear.
I'm going to say right now, first of all, I want to say that I had all of the fears that you guys were talking about getting started out. I was afraid of being too pushy. I was afraid of saying the wrong thing, or just all of the fears that you expressed. Fear of success, fear of all of those things. So, and for me to put my life out there like that as well, that was another fear, that like somebody would not like something about my life and they wouldn't want to come join me. But then I realized that not everybody is going to join me, but that doesn't matter. It's the people that really need this, and the people that do follow me that I'm going to pour into. Those are the people that I'm going to care for and pour my heart into to help them. So I think what I want to say to you guys before I say my current fear is that, can we say something to Evie? I want you to know that the way to get over that fear is to take action and to do it. Because it'll get easier. It'll get easier to speak to people and just be relaxed with people about things. And I like to say that you are encouraging them into wellness and not pushing them. You're encouraging them into wellness, because a lot of people, they're afraid to take the first step. And for you to say, look, just trust me on this. This is going to be an amazing change for you. Want to say hi, Evie? Say hi. But my current fear right now is leadership. I'm not a natural born leader. I think that my fear is really that I won't have the right tools to give my team, that I won't speak to your hearts, that I won't be able to help you guys see the vision that I see in this business. Like, I see that this does work, that this business is amazing. I have 100% confidence in the products. Just having so many testimonies on our team of health, like, you could not shake my belief in these products. But I think for me, definitely it's leadership and knowing how to lead a team. I have never led a team in my life before. But I'm doing it, and I'm doing it scared, and that's okay. I think that what I'm learning is that every step you learn something new, and everything is you can learn new things. Just because you have always been one way your whole life does not mean you cannot learn new things. So leadership is definitely my biggest fear, but I'm reading a book currently on that. So again, I think that whatever the fear is, if you can get past that one fear, it'll just get easier and easier and easier. So that's all I wanted to say.
That's great. Thanks for sharing, Della. Okay, so we just have a few more minutes before the call drops off. I just want to see, does anyone have any questions, anything else related to this topic or something else that you wanted to discuss in the next few minutes that we have? If you do, just unmute yourself. Any questions, anything you want to talk about, anything you need help with, or any objections you're facing?
I wanted to just speak up and say one more thing. I have learned in this past year of doing this that your consistency of sharing these products, that will build belief in people more than anything. If you do this and you do it for 1 month or 3 months and then you stop sharing, that is when people start doubting, you know, what this can really do. But when people really see that, hey, Ute is still talking about this, or Laurie is still talking about this, she's still sharing about this, that's going to get their attention, because they're like, why in the world would she be crazy enough to still share about this? And I will tell you that like all of those fears are gone now, because after a year, like I said, after a year of doing this, you will see so many testimonies come. If you do this consistently, you will see so many testimonies of help. It won't matter about the people that tell you no. It won't matter that that one person that you really wanted on your team said no to you, because the other testimonies, they speak volumes for what you're doing. So I just want you guys to know, believe in this, believe in yourself. You do have what it takes. It's down deep inside of you. It's probably that child inside of you that wants to come out, that inner child that was confident at one point. But I just want you guys to know, like, believe in yourself. I believe in you. And if you struggle with something specifically, let us know so that we can hand you the right kind of personal development to help you. So, Edie is talking up a storm tonight. She's like crawling around talking.
She wants her input, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. We really appreciate it. I hope you take something away that will help you as you're facing your fears. And we'll see you next week. Have a great evening.